So this is going to be another video on exercise programming. This video is going to be on the different functions of a muscle in relation to how you program for that muscle. So many muscles have different functions that require a variety of exercises to actually hit all these different functions of the muscle. So some examples of this would be your hamstring. Generally you can break it down into the long head and the short head of the hamstring. The longer head of the hamstring is hit pretty well by exercises such as hinges, deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, back extensions, etc. And the short head is hit better by exercises such as leg curls, lying or seated. Another example, pretty obvious, we can look at is the triceps, and generally you'll be kind of separating this into the long head and short heads. Shorter heads of the tricep, which are more on the side of your arm, are going to be hit more by push downs and that type of thing, where your arm is in front of your body, and then the long head is obviously more biased when you have your arms over your head and stretched out behind you. So you have examples there of muscles that they have multiple functions that if you only do one of these functions, there's going to be parts of that muscle that are left not getting the best stimulus. They may still get a stimulus from those exercises, but they will not grow the best as you're not hitting every function of the muscle properly. So using our example of hamstrings, we have determined that hamstrings, we want some hinging movements to predominantly target the long head of the hamstrings, and then some leg curl movements to predominantly target the short heads of the hamstring. So how do we set this up in our week? We have the option of splitting those functions into separate sessions. So across the week we do one session targeting one section of the function of the muscle or section of the muscle, and another session targeting the other. Or my preferred way would be splitting across a session and dividing the workload in the session into the different functions. So using hamstrings as the example, we want to split our volume between hinges and leg curls. So an example of the way I would generally split my hamstring work for a given leg day would be open with a hinge, whatever your volume is. Let's say it's 6 sets for hamstrings twice a week or something like that. So open with 3 sets of a hinge, and then later in the session do 3 sets of leg curls, and doing that on both sessions instead of doing one session all one function, all hinges, and one session all one function, all leg curls. We split it so that we make sure that each of these parts of the muscle get a stimulus in both sessions in the week. So that way it's the same with like regular frequency. We want to get each portion of the muscle as many muscle growth opportunities with this more frequency. So ideally we want to be hitting that in every session. So to wrap up, the different functions of a muscle are something you have to consider when programming for each muscle group, because if a muscle group has more functions than you are working when you're training, you're not going to be, that portion of the muscle that function uses is not going to be adequately stimulated. It's not going to grow as best as it can, and you're going to be leaving gains on the table. So it's something you do need to consider if you want to get the most out of your training.